Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here.
Boomer Rob, Boomer Terry.
And we are not live, but recorded from the wonderful Podcast Palace.
Right here in Norman, Oklahoma, where we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. Make sure and hit your like button. Subscribe to this podcast right now, whatever you're listening to it on.
Follow us
on Twitter.
And you can also stalk us if you choose on the Facebook and the Twitter.
Yeah, and remember to check out tailgateconnect.com if you're going to be traveling the country, attending
Dan the Tailgater.
Yeah.
The Tailgate Ninja.
So you can attend other tailgates. You can sign up through his website, www.tailgateconnect.com.
Where are we going next year, Terry?
We are going to West Point.
West Point.
Woot woot. Yep. Yeah. But we haven't even got to UCLA yet.
I know, but I'm already looking forward to West Point because I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun deal there.
It's going to be a fun game.
But also check out our videos on YouTube. Thursday night at Louis. Where we are every Thursday night, enjoying the atmosphere there. Plenty of sports on all the TVs, good food, ice cold drinks of the adult and non-adult. So, but right down there on Campus Corner.
And well, it is so packed now, Terry. I don't know. We're going to have to start reserving our seats.
Yeah. Well, I think me and Teresa were talking, when was it? Last week, that she may go down there early and grab our table because it was packed last week.
Yeah, it was.
So, even though our table is, it does have our sign
picture
up that says Thursday night at Louis, and people look at it and go, and they sit down. Some people, I don't understand them, man.
Right. We just need to leave a message on it that says, if you sit here, you are risking your life. And no, we wouldn't do that.
But coming up on the podcast here in just a little bit, we have Tony, another Alabama fan.
Another Alabama girl.
Who is a huge Jalen fan, and she is according to Cleo, a statistical wizard.
All right. Looking forward to that.
So we'll probably get some stuff thrown at us we weren't expecting tonight, but we're looking forward to that. And what else is going on? Check us out on Netflix. I apologize to Michael Bowles and anybody else who listened to the podcast yesterday because I threw some spoilers out there. Didn't realize that not everybody had already watched it. I don't know about you, Rob, but on Netflix, I don't watch one or two, episodes. I just watch them all so I watched all of QB1, me and Teresa did. And so, last night we were talking about it. Threw some spoilers out there, and Michael was like, dude, come on.
That's very insensitive, Terry.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize to anybody who had not watched QB1 yet. Hopefully you will. Again, we are on episode 9, which is the next to last episode on season 3.
3.9.
So what else is going on, Rob? There was something. What else are we the UCLA tailgate by Dan the Tailgater, Dan Donnelly from Tailgate Connect, is sold out in not lovely,
in L.A.
Yeah, Pasadena. In Pasadena, California. It is sold out for the UCLA game, but you can come and, like we said, stand outside and wave at us, I guess.
Yeah.
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 So, got my tickets.
We'll wave back, though.
I told you I got my tickets. Have you got your game tickets yet? Or are you
I have not gotten my tickets yet. I'm going to just buy from a scalper.
No.
Or I'm just going to sneak in right behind the LA SWAT team.
Well, I had to go ahead and get the tickets because Teresa's mobility issues, because she can't walk up and down, and I don't want a lot of steps. So I didn't want to get stuck having her to have to climb 50 flights or 50 steps. So we got something down on kind of one of the corner end zones, so pretty low. She's not going to have to get too much, but so we are all set. Our beach cabana our airline tickets, our beach cabana, and game tickets, our tailgate. Everything's
purchased.
Everything's purchased.
Excellent.
I am now in debt for 365 days until the Army game.
Well, I'm going to buy the scalper seats, and wherever they're at, I probably won't sit there. I'll just move down to wherever,
Yeah.
over to the Oklahoma side and just kind of sit wherever.
Yeah. That's where we're on the Oklahoma side of the end zone. So, but
there may be as many Oklahoma fans as there
yeah,
are Bruins.
there may be, but the tickets, according to Ticketmaster, there's still plenty left, but it's not like what I thought. There's probably more Sooner fans going to the game because I'm betting there's a lot of Sooner fans out there in L.A.
Well, and if you're a Bruin and Oklahoma's coming to town, you go watch.
Yeah, you go watch.
So
it's kind of like when basketball here, when Kobe would come to town, everybody would go watch Kobe.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what only thing Oklahoma City fans are going to get to do next year is come watch somebody else play.
Come watch Russell as he beats up on us.
Yeah, which I'm bringing up. Did you see? He's got a shirt that he's selling. He designed because he's a clothing designer,
right? Yeah.
In honor of Oklahoma City, and I think it says like "No Regrets" or something like that. And I'm like, because he's proud of the time and loved the fans. I'm like, dude, you're going to be selling those shirts for $20 each. You're going to be making $15 a shirt. Come on.
As long as it doesn't say no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets. Not even one little letter.
As long as his artist isn't doing eating a Snickers bar is what they're eating on that deal.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know.
I was talking about we're the Millers. No regrets.
Regrets. Well, that's it. But there's a commercial.
Oh yeah, Snickers. Yeah. I'm with you now.
So, not a whole lot going on today as far as Sooner wise. I did find a little tidbit, Rob, I wanted to talk about before we get Tony on here, and it pertains to the Kool-Aid.
Which I have drank already.
So, quotables from inside linebacker coach Brian Odom. Where's OU's defense with the season opening less than 2 weeks from now? His answer. You want the sugar-coated answer? The real answer? We've got to get better. Odom said, at the end of the day, even if we go play an outstanding game, we need to get better. And are we where we want to be? Absolutely not. Henceforth, moving forward, I am not drinking the Kool-Aid, yet I am standing on my Kool-Aid packets.
Okay. Well, we don't have anywhere to go but better, so I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. We're going to be better. We're going to play lights-out defense this year, and I have no data to back that up at all whatsoever. But
so, like I said, I've said it before. It just seems like, regardless of what, during the spring and stuff, I really think that Grinch thought he had a little bit better talent here or more talent here. I don't know. Just that's my read on it. Maybe a little disappointed that he thought he was going to have a little bit more to work with. Maybe he's, they've had a lot of time now to work on stuff, a lot of film to watch, a lot of, he's focusing in on takeaways. I was watching a deal on ESPN. This guy's traveling around to all the schools and visiting. It's like a 5-minute segment he has in Oklahoma, and they talk to Grinch and all the defense meeting rooms. There's a football on a spring, a loaded spring, and the idea is to pound the football, knock the football out of people's hands. So when they go into meeting rooms, everybody's supposed to take the football.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, so it's an interesting concept, I'll buy into it. I don't think we had very many takeaways last year. I think 11 interceptions.
Do we have that many?
Yeah, it was 11. I heard that today, confirmed it. I don't know how many fumbles, only 2, I guess, that really counted. That was the West Virginia game. Thank goodness that happened.
Right.
So,
which, by the way, They have a new starting quarterback in West Virginia.
Yes, they do. Another Oklahoma product,
Austin
or
Kendall.
Texas product through Oklahoma was announced as the starter.
I think he's going to be pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, I think he will be. He wasn't a bad. I mean,
He wasn't Kyler Murray.
no, and he wasn't Jalen Hurts.
Right.
And he wasn't going to be
solid,
Spencer Rattler.
I think.
I mean, he did what was best for him, and I hope he does well.
Oh, yeah. I think he'll do well, except for, when our defense shuts him down.
Yeah.
I almost got that the whole way out.
It'll be interesting to see what how the defense, if there's going to be a, pin their ears back, go after him type deal because he used to play there.
I would say so.
I would think so. That's how I would be. But again, he was a graduate transfer. Boy, I just went into a graduate transfer from Oklahoma. He had no ties to Oklahoma to stay another year. He had done his job. He earned his scholarship. He done what he just like Jalen. Jalen had done what was asked by the University of Alabama. Austin did what was asked by the University of Oklahoma. He was eligible for one more year. Went somewhere else. So
the only thing that if I was him, I probably would not have stayed in the Big 12. I probably would have went outside the Big 12.
Yeah,
but that's just me. I wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't want to come back here and play Oklahoma.
Yeah, but I think he wanted to go somewhere where he probably knew he was going to be it.
Yeah.
Not that he couldn't have gone anywhere else, but I'm sure he weighed his options and went, my best chance to probably, play, one full year of college football is probably going to be West Virginia.
You think that's the biggest school probably that said, hey, yeah, we'll take you?
I don't know. I don't know who all he was interested in. I remember reading it, but I'm not gonna try to figure it out. Who it was where he was. I think he visited 2 or 3 different schools. So, but I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, just like I don't blame Jalen Hurts. And, I don't. Any kid who has fulfilled their commitment to a university, this stuff of second year entering the portal, I'm not all for that. But if you're, if you fulfilled your commitment to the university, stayed, your time, graduated, did your job on the field, you paid for your scholarship, you've done what was asked.
That's right.
But in this generation we're in nowadays, these kids, I'm not going to get to play. I want to transfer.
You're going to hit that transfer portal.
What would your dad have done, Rob?
Boy.
If you're playing Mangum, I want to go to Marlowe. I want to transfer to Marlowe to play because I know I can play there.
It's kind of funny because my dad didn't live in the town that I did when I was a senior, and he lived up in close to Midwest City, kind of out there. Anyway, he had run across the coach from Carl Albert and had said, hey, my son, is a senior. And he's like, yeah. And I guess they talked about him. And he was trying to get me to move up here and play football at Carl Albert. Well, I didn't want to leave my senior year.
Right.
So I didn't, but it's kind of funny that you say that.
Well, I mean, but it's different to go somewhere that's a bigger school,
yeah.
To get maybe a little bit more.
To get a little bit.
Your dad, you had 12 kids on your team, didn't you say? Or
17.
17.
Yeah, 17, sir.
So,
of course, some of them were freshmen, I think.
That's different going. But I'm talking about if you would have said it's too hard, or if you played at Carl Albert and said, Dad, I want to move to Mangum because he only got 17 kids on the team.
Right.
It's easier to get to play.
Mm-hmm.
I know what my dad would have done.
Yeah.
He'd have, drug me out into the backyard and I'd start splitting wood and hauling rocks and everything else to get better so I could play wherever I was at.
Honestly, I kind of regret it because I wanted to run fullback all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get to do that very much because I was also the biggest kid on the team. So, I mean, there was one kid that was bigger than me. He played college football somewhere, but I mean, I didn't get to run fullback because I was needed too much on the line.
Needed too much on the line. I didn't get to play fullback because I didn't run fast enough. So.
Yeah, for a big boy, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Carl Howard would have been able to utilize me there.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't have played line for them because they had some pretty big old boys, didn't
Yeah. Well, yeah.
they?
Probably back in those days, they were several classes above you, weren't they? They were probably, weren't they 4A, 3A?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 6'2", 250 when I graduated high school. And for a big boy, I could move it on to. But it was more I wanted to meet you in the hole.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to see who was toughest. You know, and there were several times I got knocked by 3 counts of senseless.
You found out,
yeah,
huh?
You were a little tougher than me, buddy. I hate you. So
yeah, they'll be careful what you wish for, or be careful what you want. Draw that straw. Yeah, I'll take on the. What do they say about it's kind of like being in prison. What they say about being in prison. There's 2 things you want to be. Either one.
Not in prison, or I'm thinking that's got to be high on the list, Harry. Not in prison.
Yeah, but if you are in prison, okay, that's not an option. The 2 things there's 2 things that you want to be, either or.
Okay.
The baddest dude in the prison or the funniest guy in prison, because they won't mess with either one of you. And I've seen it on several of like psychology shows that. The guy who's the meanest and baddest, nobody's going to mess with him, okay? Because, he'll shank you. And then the funny guy, everybody likes him. And so nobody picks on him. So you...
I don't know, man. I would just be like, hey, listen, I'm carrying a gun, all right? I'll bust a cap. Of course, they probably know better since it's prison.
Yeah, it's prison, and they don't allow guns in there anymore. So,
yeah.
But no, I mean, it's... That's what you want to be. You want to be the baddest dude or the funniest dude.
Funniest. So
you don't want to be the prettiest.
So immediately you're going to go and start telling a bunch of jokes?
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, so a rabbi and a priest walk into a bar. And they're like, what is going on here?
And I said, you do not want to be the prettiest guy in prison.
Well, yeah. I don't think that would.
Did you ever watch that show Oz on HBO?
I did not.
Oof. Man, that was a scary show. It was...
If it's going down the same road that we kind of started on, I'd rather talk about something else. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, and speaking, one more TV thing before we get Tony on here. Where are you at on The Boys, Netflix?
So yeah, my TV's still broken or whatever.
Jeez, Rob.
Yeah.
So what do you do? No, okay, stop. What do you do? Do you go home and sit in a dark room?
I read? You don't read? I mean, come on.
No, I don't read.
Oh, yeah.
I can read, but I don't.
I read a lot, so yeah. And I go for walks now because I'm healthier. I'm 100 pounds lighter, so yeah.
You're more than 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I walked, well, I don't know how far, so all I can tell you is I walked a par 3 from my front door, and then I walked a par 5 and a par 4 to the east, and then 2 par 4s back south, and then 3 par 4s back to the house west. So
I don't know. That some reason it just reminded me. I don't know if we've shared this on the podcast before. Can I share the heart attack story?
I don't remember it. So.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna probably deny this one time.
No.
Okay.
Rob, folks, one day called me, and no, he texted me just kind of out of the blue. I mean, there's Rob and I talk throughout the day, text and whatnot, but there's pretty much after we're 7, 8 o'clock, unless something happens, we don't talk till the next day. And it was like 9 o'clock at night, I think, and Rob texted me, is like, and you hadn't been feeling good, or I can't remember what, but you text me and said, man, I'm not feeling good. And I was like, what's going on? Well, I think I might be having a heart attack, or might have had a heart attack or something like that. And I go, do I need to come take you to the hospital? No, I think I'm going to be fine. I walked up and down the stairs, and
I think I was on the dope or something. Yeah, I walked up and down the stairs just to see if it was a heart attack.
See if it was a heart attack, and I seemed to be fine. And I was like,
But did you die?
you thought you had a heart attack, so you went up and down a staircase.
If it's coming, it's coming, right? No.
And then I asked him, he said, and I said, well, what makes you think that? And you said, my arm started hurting, and it was your right arm, not your left arm.
Right.
And that was the key.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rob thought he was having a heart attack, or thought he might be having a heart attack, so he goes and does strenuous activity.
Well, I mean, you got to figure it out, right? I mean, that's what a guy with no female supervision does. Terry, you wouldn't know anything about that. You just leave me alone.
You figured, if I have a heart attack in my apartment, nobody will find you for 3 days, right?
The cats will eat me.
Yeah, the cats will eat you.
Except I don't have any cats.
Yeah, but if you're outside walking up and down steps, you'll fall. Somebody the next morning will find you.
See?
So
you didn't think it through.
Oh, but that was one of the many funny conversations Rob and I have had.
It's a hoot over here. I'm not even kidding you. It's a hoot.
But anyway, I'm trying to. What are some of the things we want to talk to Tony about here in a minute?
Well, why don't we just let her lead and we will follow?
Okay. Well, it's time to get Miss Tony on the phone with us. All right, Sooner fans, as promised, all the way from Greenbow, Alabama. No.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry, I couldn't refuse that.
Backwards, Alabama.
He just went all Forrest Gump on you, didn't he?
I just went full forced. Decatur, Alabama. We have Bama fan / Sooner fan, because I put the Bama first, okay, because she is a true Bama fan.
Mm-hmm.
But we know she's a Sooner fan for at least a year. We have Tony on the phone with us. Boomer
Absolutely
Tony.
Not.
Boomer.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
All right.
Oh, so how is it going in Alabama?
It's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Well, it's that way here in Oklahoma.
Pretty
too.
warm here too.
But though, for those of you who aren't on Twitter, or let me just kind of explain a little bit about Tony, and then I'll let her explain herself. How does that sound, Rob? Does that sound?
I'm okay with whatever. She might not be though. I don't however you want to do that.
Well, as we had on today's podcast, if you listened, we had Cleo, who's a Bama fan. They and Tony were the first ones that I saw on Twitter, and actually were the first ones. Tony was the first. Cleo was the next that reached out. Tony actually sent me an email that was rather in depth, which isn't a bad thing. We had been talking about Jalen and all the stuff that was going in, and it was really a nice. It was like, holy cow, this lady knows everything there is to know about Jalen Hurts and probably about Alabama football. So we became, I guess, friends on Twitter or whatever it is, however you want to do it. She listened to the podcast, and now we're talking about Jalen. And, now that he's the starter, we have been talking about her coming on and Cleo coming on the podcast when it got closer to the season. And so that's how we came about to know Tony. So tell Sooner fans a little bit about yourself. How you, you're talk about Alabama football, your love for Alabama football, what you thought with Jalen, and why it was important to you to follow Jalen to Oklahoma. So,
First, I was born and raised in Alabama. I mean, heck, you're either Auburn or you're Alabama, and Auburn is just a bad word, so you're Alabama. So that's what it is. I'm an Alabama fan. Was born an Alabama fan, and that's the best way I can explain that. You either are or you're not.
Right.
So that's the way I am. And I've been, during the good times and the bad times, during Bear Bryant, and he wears the houndstooth, the houndstooth hat and everything too. It's got the black check. It's like a squiggly line. That's what houndstooth. It's black and white.
I did not know.
So let's ask you: is it a color or is it a design?
It's a design.
Okay.
Houndstooth is actually a design.
See, I didn't know what houndstooth was until yesterday.
Did you Google it up?
No, Cleo
that's
told
a big
me.
Thing. Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I haven't heard the podcast yet. Did she? Well, it's a design. It's kind of like a jagged line, and it's black and white is what it is. The line's black, and then the background of the fabric of the hat is white. And see, Bear Bryant wore the houndstooth. That's where houndstooth came from.
Right.
So we're a real big Bear Bryant, fan too. Of course he's not with us anymore, but he was just an amazing coach. And, we have, Bryant Denny Stadium, of course it's named after him too.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the reason. And we have his great-grandson is my quarterback on Alabama's team this season.
Oh, really?
We do. We do. His last name is Tyler, and he's just amazing. Paul Tyson, and so that he's one of the backups. He's a freshman this year.
Okay, I'm not being rude or anything. Please don't take it. Is he any good, or is he get the scholarship?
No, he's good.
Okay.
No, he's good.
Because I would think if you're Bear Bryant's great-great-grandson, you could go to Alabama.
No, he's good. He's good, and he'll be. We've got such depth in the quarterback room this season. It's unbelievable. The quarterback. We've got 2 freshmen. We've got Little Tagovailoa. We've got Paul Tyson, and of course we've got Mac Jones, who's been there since 2017, and of course we got Tua Tagovailoa. So we've got a really.
I forgot that y'all have 2 Tuas. Or 2.
Yeah, we have Tua Tagovailoa, a little one.
I'm like, who's she talking about? I don't even. How do you?
Little,
I thought she mentioned the same person twice.
No. No, we have Little Tagovailoa. His name is Talia, and so we call him Leah. And he's like 5'10.5", 5'11". He's about the size of Kyler, actually. Not quite as bulk, Kyler has muscle, his arms and his legs and stuff. He's not quite that big, but he's only 19, so he's not as old as Kyler yet. But then we got a really deep quarterback room too, just like OU does. I'm like, wow, these guys that come out of high school are just unbelievable, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I mean anymore. You come out of high. There's so many camps and stuff that these kids go to. I mean, we've talked about it before. Caleb played high school basketball. My youngest son, who rarely does the podcast, we're fixing to put an X on his face on our logo because he'll never come over and do the podcast. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But he played basketball, high school basketball, literally, from the time he was in 6th grade, he played basketball 11 months out of the year.
My stars.
Yeah, from when school started all the way around until there's a college. Oklahoma Baptist University has a team camp that they do every year, and the Norman North kids would all go to that team camp. Anybody that was on the teams, they would go to that team camp, and then they had that day from after team camp until school started off. So they had a month off. But that's how, these kids play, the 7-on-7 leagues in the summer. They go to these, there's hundreds of elite camps that they go to.
Wow.
And
well, Jalen, when you're saying that, Jalen Hurts never went to those camps.
Oh, really?
He is a self-taught old school quarterback that taught himself and his dad. I'm telling you, he never did. So when, in 2014 or 15, Jalen was only 16 years old when Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban actually went to find him. And, at Chillview, Texas High School, they actually went into the weight room to find him. He's working out with the linebackers. And, but he never went to any of those camps or private coaching or anything like that for quarterbacks. He taught himself.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting to see for him to do that and to be a 17-year-old starting quarterback for Nick Saban. And Nick Saban has never had a freshman starting quarterback ever, and this is his 48th year of coaching.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's his whole story, and part of the email that you sent, and we put it out on our website, on our blog. Just kind of the history and not really what he went through, but what's the word I'm looking for, Rob? What he accomplished. Yeah. What he accomplished.
Right, some of his accomplishments for as young as he is. It's true. And, the thing is, too, I've been watching Jalen. I knew who Jalen was, and I even knew about Kyler Murray before he even went to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I have friends that live in Houston, the Houston area, and so I knew who Jalen was. I've been watching him play football from afar. I've never met him since he was about 13 years old. And so That's since I have such in-depth knowledge about him. I watched him play for a long time.
You know, in Oklahoma we call that a stalker, but that's just in Oklahoma, okay?
Your new
not
living
good,
room
'cause
furniture
I'm
looks
a
good from the
lady.
yard.
But
Oh my God.
so we asked Cleo yesterday, what was your take when we knew he was going into the portal? Where did you think he was going to go? Because it came out that it was Miami. What was the other school?
It was
Maryland.
Maryland, and
Maryland, and then Oklahoma
that's-
kind of snuck in.
Oh yeah, he did a little persnickety little thing too. He did on that too. He was leaving Maryland, and next thing you know, we get an Instagram thing, and he's putting it on there, in his story, the Instagram story. He puts in there Tuscaloosa, so everybody's thinking he's in Tuscaloosa. No, he's not in Tuscaloosa. He's in Oklahoma.
Yeah, because the buildings at the university kind of looked the same where he was at.
No, he didn't show that. He just one word.
Oh, okay.
He didn't have a picture or nothing.
Oh.
And see, we had pictures when he was at Maryland. There's pictures everywhere, all over Twitter and everywhere. And then when he went to Miami, of course, he's sitting whatever that expensive restaurant is. They're sitting there with that little tiny steak. It's little bitty, about this, not even as big as your palm, sitting on this plate. And I'm thinking, you're going to give that to a 220-pound quarterback.
Right. You could
So-
eat a dozen of those.
So where did you want him to go?
Oklahoma.
You did?
I did. I wanted to go to Oklahoma. Absolutely.
Why did you want him to go to Oklahoma?
Well, why do you think? His name is called Lincoln Riley.
Two Heisman
Well,
Trophy winners, and 2 first-round picks. There you go.
Lincoln Riley. And this is before, though. You have to realize, too, that I wanted him to go, and this is honest. I'm probably going to get roasted for this. Bama fans don't like me sometimes. They don't.
That's
But,
okay. I mean, we get the same from Oklahoma fans. So
You're either one or the other. You
Yeah.
can't be both. Yes, I can. But Oklahoma fans have just been so much fun. It's just been fun.
yeah,
But no, actually, in before the season started in 2018, because it's just like anything else, everybody knew as soon as Tua stepped in that national championship game, everybody knew Jalen's job was done. He wasn't going to be the starter, which just broke my heart. But everybody knew that. Of course, these coaches have to drag it out, and I get it. But during that time, though, you learned a lot under Danny Nose and with Mike Loxley, and I'm so thankful for both of them. But during that time, too, when he was watching, I said, if he transfers, I knew he wasn't going to leave in 18. I knew that. That's not his personality.
right.
Jalen's not going to give up on his guys because that was his team. It's my team. It's my guys. And he was the leader in the locker room. They lost the big leader when Jalen left. And I knew he wasn't going to leave, but the whole season, it's exactly where I wanted him to go. And this was before even, we knew how good Kyler was going to be. I wanted him to go to Oklahoma.
Yeah, and again, my whole take, and Rob can chime in on this too, is he came to Oklahoma to get in the NFL, and
Of course
it's
he
his
did.
best chance to. He came to Oklahoma to make money.
Well,
okay?
we both think that he was going to make it anyway, but he was trying to move up the draft board, I think.
Yeah, I mean that. He could have gone to Miami. Probably still could have been.
Still probably could have made the draft. Yeah.
Got in the draft, got drafted, but coming to Oklahoma with the success that the quarterbacks have had the last 2 drafts, last 3 years, if he does frankly, if he does 80% as good as the last 2 quarterbacks at Oklahoma, that would be like the 3rd best season any quarterback has ever had. Because you got to remember, Baker in 2 years had the most efficient quarterback rating in the history of college football, and the next year he broke it. And guess what? Kyler comes in and does better. So
And they're saying, Kyler can't beat Baker. Kyler can't beat Baker. Oh, yeah, right. What did he do? He beat Baker. Yeah.
Statistically, they had the best seasons. Baker's junior year, the best season ever. Senior year, the best season. Broke his own record. Then Kyler does it. If he just comes in and does as well as Baker's junior year, he's going to be a first-round pick.
Which I think there's no doubt that he's going to.
And maybe even better. I mean, people didn't think
Right.
that Kyler could be, Baker's that special person. and I kind of get ribbed on Twitter a little bit because, quite frankly, I'm tired of hearing about Baker. Okay, I mean, he's a great Oklahoma quarterback. I hate the Cleveland Browns. Okay, so
Don't be a hater.
I'm going to be a hater, but he's not the Oklahoma quarterback anymore. And great. I wish him well in the NFL. Do good, but people didn't think Kyler, because it's Baker. Well, nobody's ever going to be as good as Baker. Well, guess what? Kyler came in here and was better. And I think the difference between Kyler and Baker was leadership, and because Baker was a leader, a fiery leader, right, Rob? Kind of that hothead leader. Kyler, I don't know if he was much of a leader, but it looks like Jalen is a general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a.
Well, he is. If you want to go to battle, if you're ready to go to war, and your life's dependent on it, give me Jalen Hurts.
And honestly, we got a lot of freshmen, so we really need that right now.
And the other thing is, I've said it before, is Jalen Hurts this year has more targets than Kyler and Baker combined had in any season.
Absolutely.
This freshman class is amazing. These kids,
it is amazing.
All these freshman receivers are going to be playing. He's going to have plenty of targets. Not that anybody wasn't, the receivers that they had weren't great and really good. This is 3 of the top 5 receivers in the country coming out of high school, and they're all ready to play.
I love the triplets. Other than we got the triplets, and you got Alston Stogner, and you got. I'm like, oh my gosh! And then your 5-star running back, and then you got Trey Sermon's the 5-star. Kennedy Brooks is back. Then you've got Nick Baskin. I mean, I'm like, oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I know you're
sure
roster, believe it or not.
I think I could be the quarterback of this team. Just don't ask me to throw it downfield. But
But Terry, let me ask you: could you handle it at 150 degrees and full pads out there like these guys?
Hey,
I don't think I could.
I've done it before. But one of remember what happened, Rob, when we played Syracuse and Donovan McNabb?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
First game, September 1st. What happened, Rob?
Well, we dominated on Don McNabb.
But it was in the third quarter. He gets up underneath the center and steps back and pulls his helmet up and pukes right in the middle of the field. You remember that? Yeah. And because it was so freaking hot. I mean, it I don't know. You said it's hot out there. Today it was 107 here in Oklahoma. It was.
No, it's hot. It's hotter there. I was shocked to find out it was hotter there. I mean, it's hot here. I mean, you're looking at 95 degrees thereabouts, or with 50, 60, 70% humidity, or a little higher. It's hot. It's not 170 degrees.
Yeah.
I mean, 107 is just that. That is crazy.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons.
115 degrees a few days ago, and I'm thinking, what?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons there's 2 reasons that Lincoln has thrown a fit about the 11 o'clock kickoffs. One is recruiting. Kids, they get done with their football. They got to get on a plane that night or extra early to get into an 11 o'clock game. The city and the business around Oklahoma, around Norman, complain because they lose money at an 11 o'clock game. They don't make as much money.
Oh, absolutely.
But one of the other things is that September 1st at 11 a.m., by the time it's halftime, it is flat out miserable sitting inside that stadium.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, you're in a roaster oven.
So first 2 games this year at 6 o'clock. It's going to be pretty warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And how does those players handle that, though? I mean, they're another 10, 15 degrees hotter because it's hotter down on the field, and then all those pads on. I don't know how the kids are just passed out on the ground.
Well, they're, for one, they don't eat as many donuts and Twinkies as I do. It's probably not as many, chocolate chip cookies. They better not drink as much beer as I do. So,
Well, they have those fan zones down there that spray them with water, and
yeah.
So I mean, it's still hot, I'm sure.
Yeah, but. Yeah,
when you're 20, you can handle a whole lot better than when you're 40.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, hauling hay and when I was in high school and younger and building fences in southeastern Oklahoma, driving fence posts down and southeastern Oklahoma is basically rock, for 6 feet. And I used to do it all day long. Now I get out 4 hours fixing my, picket fence in my backyard, and I'm about to die. So,
yeah, I heard that. Well, it happens too when you get a little older too, and it's just like, it's crazy. And I just could not believe the temperature there, though, compared to, I thought it was hot here. And I lived in Arizona for 26 years, right at 26 years. And that's when I was tweeting somebody. I said, well, is it like Arizona temperatures? Is it humid or is it a dry heat? You guys have humidity too with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not as humid here as it is in Alabama, but we do have humidity. Yes.
Yeah, but
wow.
Now in Alabama, do they have heat indexes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it'll be 96 degrees outside, and the heat index is 104.
No, it's not. Okay. If it feels like it's 104, it's 104. Okay. Their heat indexes are a myth.
Or a myth.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we talked about it before. Your oven, okay? If you turn it to 350, is it 350 or does it feel like 400? What's the difference in outside in your oven?
I'm thinking we may need a weatherman here. I'm just saying.
I understand. I understand wind chill. You're outside. It's cold. The wind is blowing. The wind makes it feel colder.
You understand that, but you can't.
I can't understand if I'm standing in the heat. It's not the wind blowing that makes me feel hotter. It's 98 degrees, but it feels like it's 105. Huh? That doesn't make.
Why isn't it 105?
Yeah. Oh, Terry. Oh.
But I know it's not. Every time I think about Alabama and the deep South like that, I think of the movie Biloxi Blues, and it was in Biloxi, Mississippi. But Matthew Broderick, when he gets off the train, did you see that movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think I did. I don't think so.
But it's called Biloxi Blues, and he's in the military. He's going to basic training in Biloxi, Mississippi, and he goes, the first thing I realized when I got off the train in Biloxi was that it was hot. And not just any type of hot, like Africa hot.
Okay. What kind of fresh hell is this?
Yeah. So, but anyway, let's get back onto football. Now, we educated Rob a little bit last night. My dad was my dad loved two coaches, okay? And those two coaches were Barry Switzer and Bear Bryant.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Now, we educated Rob a little bit. He thought I was crazy when I told him that Bear Bryant got his name from wrestling a bear when he was like in high school. Okay, Rob.
No, he was actually 13. He actually did do that.
Yeah,
it was
13.
At a carnival.
At a carnival. That's what we said.
At a carnival. Yeah.
That's what Tony and I were explaining to him, that he wrestled, and I had to explain to Rob. Now, carnivals back then ain't like they were. You didn't go get on a roller coaster. You went and paid $1 and wrestled a bear.
Yeah,
he really did. It was a tamed bear, of course. It was a carnival bear, and I think he was 13. And that's the biggest thing is that they were talking about too. Because he was pretty tall at 13.
He was
I forget how tall.
He was a big boy or a big man. He was a big man. He was well over 6'5", I guess. It's about 6'5" or 6'6". Big man, but he was, he was pretty tall as a teenager, and he was just barely a teenager when he wrestled that bear. That's where he got his name from, Bear Bryant. Yeah. See, Rob, that's two. It's been
okay. Hold up now. Hold up. I don't care if you're 6'8". You cannot beat a bear in a wrestling match. Okay, but on the other hand, so everybody that went and paid their nickel to go wrestle the bear, did they also get called Bear?
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
I want a nickname, so I'm going to run down there and wrestle that bear, which I think is a bad idea. But
because, even though it's tame, is there really such thing as a tame bear?
I mean,
because if a tame bear goes, I'm going to eat you, the tame bear is going to eat you.
Is it tame and wearing a muzzle? Because, I'm pretty sure I'm out on that deal. Let's see.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. They don't do that anymore.
So
they don't have the fair. We don't have
why?
carnivals anymore.
Because people die. Just saying.
That's probably true.
So what are some other Bear Bryant stories? I told Cleo last night. I know some of y'all are getting to hear, but Tony hasn't listened to it. But my dad, there was back in those days you had bathroom reading, and some people still have bathroom reading. And on the back of the toilet in my mom and dad's bathroom, there was the Bear Bryant book, and there was the Bootlegger's Boy. And I don't know how many times he read it, but he had it in there. And I actually read part of the Bear Bryant book. But what are some other legendary things that Bear Bryant did?
Oh my gosh! Well, the big thing with him he was, I mean, they would have 2-a-days and stuff. He was hard on those boys when they were playing football. And, he was the first coach to bring in, black players. We had 4 black players that actually come in, and Bear Bryant is the one that did that. He was just a great man, and, did a lot for the sport.
Well, and I know, we talked about that a couple of weeks or last week or so ago. I watched the 30-on-30 that was it the Board of Regents or just the state as a whole wouldn't let him recruit black athletes, and so he scheduled USC to come to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama, and they got smoked by USC. And guess what happened? All of a sudden, they let him start recruiting black athletes. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. That's what he did. That's exactly what he did. And he's just like, all right, I'll show you. And that's what he did, though. He brought him in, and that way he's like, okay. And they just whacked the field with our players. I mean, just.
Yeah. So
winning is more important than their racism. Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that because
the funny thing is too. The thing about that though, because that's a long time ago, guys. It's back in the '60s and stuff.
Yeah.
He did not tolerate that. He did not want any part of that.
Yeah.
And he was just a nice man. I say he was a nice man. He was, but he's a tough coach.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Junction
these
Boys
players,
is a great movie too. That
it is
ESPN. You've seen that, haven't you, Rob?
I have not. Isn't that about Texas A&M? I thought that was about Texas A&M.
No, it's about Bear Bryant.
And let him watch stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, did he coach at Texas A&M?
Yeah, he coached at Texas A&M.
Okay.
And the first day of practice, they would go clear the rocks off the practice field.
Ah.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty tough back then, huh?
Because that was in the 50s when he was there, or early 60s, something like that.
Yeah, so early 60s.
So I hate Texas A&M.
Yeah, everybody hates Texas A&M. Another thing that he wouldn't do, I forgot about this one. It was when they would play in the Sugar Bowl, he never wore his hat.
Right.
Do you know why, Rob?
Because he was silly.
No.
Oh, superstitious.
His mother taught him that a gentleman doesn't wear their hat indoors.
Ah,
so
indoors.
He would not wear a hat indoors. So when they played in the Sugar Bowl, in the Superdome. Is it the Superdome? What is it down in?
It's not there anymore, right?
In New Orleans?
Yeah, the Louisiana Superdome.
It's a
gone.
Superdome, isn't it? No, it's still there.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I thought they tore it down and built something else. No, I got flooded during Katrina.
No, that's where everybody went to get to keep away from getting flooded.
Okay. All right then. I said corrected.
Oh my God.
But he wouldn't wear and when they played inside in a dome, he wouldn't wear his hat.
I think they should tear it down.
Yeah, they should. It's an eyesore. I mean, but I'm surprised that whole area down there hasn't just sunk because it's nothing but swamp. But,
it's in a fishbowl. I'm surprised.
I know.
Put the ocean back with it.
Yeah, when you live below sea level, okay, which New Orleans is below sea level, you shouldn't live there. Okay, you're a fish. So just
you would think, right?
And during the hurricanes, when they start letting you back in, and you come and you see the streets flooded, and the water that is flooding it is on fire. That's God Himself telling you to move. Okay.
This is true. That's what I think too.
Yeah.
But speaking of God, you're talking about the heat. Well, I'm going to tell you this. You got to hear this. I was living in Arizona, and my stepdads, they flew out to Arizona, and they brought his brother and his wife out to Arizona. Well, it's in the middle of the summer, and it's hot. I think Arizona will get 120, 128 degrees. My uncle, well, he's my stepfather's brother. They get off the plane. The first thing he goes, "Oh my gosh, where's the pitchfork and the devil?" It was 124 degrees when they stepped off the plane. And I was just like, he says, "I can't believe this."
But I'm I've been to Arizona, and I'm of the one that people go, it's different in Arizona. It's a dry heat. I got news for you. If it's 125 degrees, it's hot. If it's 105 degrees, it's hot. I don't care if it's a dry heat or a humid heat.
It is different though.
It is different. You can get the biggest difference is that in Arizona you can step under a tree if you can find one and get in the shade. But if you can get in the shade, it's cooler underneath the shade because the heat's coming directly from the sunlight. In Oklahoma,
right?
You get in the shade tree, you just don't have to wear your sunglasses because it's still miserable. But
well, that's true though in Arizona. That's true about that though. It's just the dry heat. You can step in the shade and it's 10, 20 degrees cooler. It's crazy just to get out of the sun.
So
crazy.
Let's see. We talked not much Bama smack last night because I think.
Well, I don't know. Did Cleo tell you anything about the rivalries and stuff like Auburn or LSU
we talked about rival. We talked about OU Texas and Auburn. Now, Oklahoma's rival is Texas, and Rob and I will stand tight on our deal that Oklahoma State is not our rival. Mm-hmm. Okay. There are in-state school that sucks. They're our little brother. Mm-hmm. They want to be us, but they ain't us. Poor Oklahoma. Their field goes the wrong way, east and west, not north and south.
And the series is like 89. The series is like 89 and 17.
Yeah,
that's not a rivalry.
It's not a rivalry, So, what is there a school that Alabama plays that the fans just hate, other than Auburn? That's really not a rival.
LSU.
But LSU?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God. They hate Alabama, but they really hate Nick Saban. They hate Nick Saban. No, there's a reason for it though.
Yeah, I know.
There's really a reason. not because we're winning, that's part of it. But that's not the real reason. Nick Saban was the head coach of LSU in 2000, I think.
He has a statue still at LSU.
He does. And to 2004, and he won the national championship in 2003. I'm trying to remember dates. Forgive me if I get it wrong.
It was 04.
It was 04 because he beat Oklahoma. So don't remind us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but anyway, so it seemed like he wound up going to
Miami.
He left LSU, went to Miami. Yeah,
and couldn't coach in the pros.
So he left the pros, and where did he go? Another SEC school, Alabama. Yeah, so they hate him for that. So every time we did our players, I'm serious, they drive the bus. They said they have to go get the National Guard to be able to get our players off the bus and get them down because it's open where they walk into the stadium. It's just open. All they have is barricades. So they have to have extra security to get the players and get Coach Saban into the stadium because they hate Alabama so bad because they hate Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And I forget what year it was, but our players on the bus, the fans were out there rocking the players' buses.
Well, see, here is my thought on folks that live in Louisiana. Okay. They can't be that smart because they can't. Their relatives or people who were, 150 years ago were trying to find a place to live and settle, and for some reason, I don't know if it's because their wagons got stuck or what in the swamp. They thought, geez, there's alligators, snakes, stinky trees. It's miserably hot down here. This is a good place to live. They can't be that smart. I have been,
and we have to push the ocean back.
If you have not been into the deep parts of Louisiana, there are houses on stilts that is just, and it's just, I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I got to give it that.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's not somewhere, you get out and it's like, just getting out of your car, you lose like 4 pounds of water weight because you start sweating. It's so hot. I mean, it's so humid.
It is hot.
And I used to be in Baton Rouge a lot, and at night in the summertime when it would start cooling off, fog would raise up off the plants or steam or whatever, and then it would smell, like rotting vegetation.
Oh, okay.
It stunk. But somebody 150 years ago thought that would be a good place to live. So their relatives are the reason why these folks ain't so smart.
Okay.
So
well, obviously, I mean, I don't understand why you would want to, live below sea level. I mean, that's crazy. The higher the better. No, I'm kidding. I can't handle all the snow and all the cold, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure you just stereotyped an entire species of people, but hey, that's okay. I mean, yeah.
well, but
we're
again,
not politically correct.
I mean, I'm not going to live anywhere where animals can eat me. Like alligators and so on and so forth. My brother is a big hunter. I used to hunt quite a bit, and he always wanted to take me bear hunting. You need to go bear hunting or mountain lion. He lived in up in Washington State. It's like, dude, I'm not going bear hunting or mountain lion hunting. Why not? It's so much fun. No, I don't hunt anything that hunts back. Okay,
that's a good rule to live by. I'm just saying that's a good rule.
Anything that could eat you too. Right?
Yeah. Eat me, hunt me back. Squirrels, they don't come and attack me if I shoot at them. If a bear, I shoot and miss. Guess what's happening? The bear's going to win the battle, unless I was Paul Bear Bryant. Then I would win the battle.
Then you would win that.
But I am no Bear Bryant, so. But. Yeah, LSU, and then plus their colors are purple and yellow, and their mascot's a tiger. I've never seen a purple and yellow tiger. Have you?
No.
You obviously haven't taken the right drugs, Terry.
Apparently. And okay, maybe you can explain this. We don't understand the Auburn thing. Okay, Auburn
colors or
Auburn Tigers, War Eagle. Huh?
Don't ask me.
Okay. So nobody understands
Nobody
it.
understands
All right,
it. I don't even think Auburn fans understand
it. Hey, War Eagle, what's that mean? I don't know.
Your mascot's a tiger. Change this mascot to a War Eagle, and then that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's their cry is War Eagle, and I'm like, okay.
Well, they even have that eagle or the hawk or whatever that thing is fly over the stadium before a game.
Yeah, it's an eagle. It's actually an eagle.
Yeah.
And
you would think since they're the tigers, they would put a tiger on a rope and swing him.
Eagle, though?
Is it a war eagle?
Well, you know that they've had that eagle the eagle since like 1892 or something, if I'm remembering correctly. They've had it for a long, long time.
I didn't know that. So it just, I thought maybe you could enlighten us that, the Auburn fans or the program was that discombobulated that it doesn't make sense,
No.
You see them Auburn Tigers and they walk past each other and go, War Eagle. What? Rob just broke the mic stand again.
Yeah, I got a little habit of doing that.
So, okay, so
I think and I honestly think the reason they have that has something to do with, and I'm just trying to remember. I don't think it's 1892. Around that time, 1890, 1892, somewhere around 1895, something. They had actually met. I think Auburn played Georgia, and I think wasn't that around some war. What war was that at that time? And I think
I wasn't alive then.
The cry was.
I'm old, not that old.
I don't remember either. I'm old. Yeah, but I'm not old. We're old, but not ancient, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they just did the battle cry War Eagle. I don't know. I think that's where it came from. I'm not 100% sure. I don't follow Auburn. We don't do Auburn.
So, are you okay? Big 12 fans, and I'm not going to talk for Big 12 fans. I'll just talk for Oklahoma fans. The SEC conference, okay. Is the whole conference, or are you one of the fans that it's like, we're the SEC, it doesn't matter, we're going to root for the SEC? I mean, if Auburn is playing for the national championship, who are you rooting for, Auburn or somebody else, or whoever they're playing?
Probably Auburn.
See, I couldn't do that.
Auburn. As much as I dislike Auburn, probably Auburn. But it depends on who they're playing now. Especially if they're playing Texas, definitely Auburn.
Oh, well.
If they're playing Oklahoma, nope, it'll be Oklahoma.
No, see, if Auburn was playing Texas, I would root for Auburn too. I can't. And Rob and I have a theory. Okay, some of our theories we agree on, some of them we don't. But one that we agree on is that there is a difference in rooting for a team to win and needing the team to win to benefit your program, to benefit your team. Okay, for instance,
right, I agree with that.
We need Texas to beat LSU, okay, because
Number one, because we hate LSU.
Yeah, but that's one reason.
I mean,
but the other reason is that
honest.
we need them to be highly ranked when we play them.
Right.
It makes the game better. It makes it works out better.
Beating them better.
Makes beating them better. But we're not rooting for them to win. Whatever bowl game Texas is playing in, I'm rooting for the other team.
Mostly, yes.
Yes. Oklahoma State. Well, we know they're going to the Alamo Bowl, so that's where the only place they ever go. I'm rooting for the other team. So I don't.
Oh, I understand that because and we're the same way too. The SEC is the same way. Typically I don't have to worry about Alabama, so we're there, so I don't worry about Bama. We're there.
Yeah.
So I do worry about it too. So like with LSU in Texas, much as I don't like LSU, I'm rooting for LSU because I like Texas worse.
Yeah.
Or believe.
Let's see. What's another SEC? We were talking about the SEC the other day, Rob. What's another thing on the SEC that we were wondering about? I can't remember.
I honestly do not know. I mean, the SEC, they really tout being very good, but really Alabama's carrying the conference and has for a long time.
Yeah.
Just like Oklahoma's carrying the Big 12, but they've got some other teams in the SEC that are strong, like Georgia in the last 5, 6, 7 years has really come on, and nobody from the Big 12 has really emerged. We want Texas to, but they just suck. So, and I mean, how can you recruit to Iowa State where it's going to be like negative 200 or something in a couple of months?
Yeah, on October 1st.
Yeah. So nobody wants to go play that.
And as much as I want Justin Fields to do well, I cannot root for Ohio State. I just can't do it.
No, I can't either.
God, no.
What was I going to say? I just went blank, Rob. I had a good point to make after that. What Rob said about the SEC and it was for a while it was Alabama, but it seemed like ESPN, was touting the SEC and the SEC when really it was Alabama and maybe one or two. It's kind of like for a while there. I mean, it has gotten better, but for a while there, the the ACC is Clemson. That's it.
Right.
That is it.
It is. But there for a while, that's what the SEC. But the SEC has gotten better now. But the SEC was being touted when everybody else in the country was sitting back going, no, the SEC is Alabama. I mean,
for the most part, it was.
Yeah, nobody else was regularly competing. Auburn jumps up there because they had Cam Newton. That's it. That's the only reason why they won the national title.
They cheated.
Well, and there's some truth to that too, and that's the reason why this year too is going to be. Well, they've got good players. They really, really do. I'm just not a real fond of the coach, but they do. And then unfortunately this year too, I think he'll do fine. They've got freshman Bo Nix is playing. He's a 5-star recruit and everything too. He's a good quarterback, but it's a big task to play football in the SEC as a freshman. It's huge, and we'll see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, but what are your back to the Sooners? What are your expectations for the Sooners this year with Jalen?
You really, truthfully, and
yes.
I said this a lot too. It's with him. If they have seriously, if the team, because I like Alex Grinch. Okay, I've watched him coach at Washington State. I saw him turn that program around. It took him. It improved. Exponentially every year he was there. Then the last year he was there, it was either ranked 14th or 16th in the nation. The last year he was at Washington State. I mean, that's huge when it's like in the 90s, mid 90s where it was when he started.
Right.
And so, and I think I honestly think the players are buying in. I think everybody's working really, really hard. And if the offense and if the team will work like Jalen works, and the reason I'm saying that is Jalen Hurts, that's who he is. That's how he worked at Bama. That's what he does. If they have that, they're not going to be denied mentality. I can see them getting into the natty. I can see it. And because I know who Jalen is. I know that this kid is a clutch football player. He's a clutch football player. You think it's done? Well, it's not. Because that kid is not going to stop until there's no no seconds left on that clock. He's not going to stop playing.
Yeah, but does he play defense? I'm just saying.
Because
But that's the thing. And
last
that's true,
year,
though. The defense.
Rob and I were touting towards, middle of this after the Texas game, a little Iron Man football, hey, let's put Kyler at safety. I mean, put your best players on both sides of the ball because our defense was, basically like a
Trust me,
spaghetti strainer. And so,
Jalen's a 4.48 40 quarterback. Well, trust me, he's fast enough too to be a linebacker or a defensive end, and he'd get that quarterback. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, here, one thing we got to do. I almost forgot. I was sitting here and I looked over here. We've got to play Sooner, Not a Sooner. So.
Oh gosh, I'll flunk this. You know that, right?
Well, what we did with Cleo, we're going to do the same with you. We'll try to keep it more relevant. Okay, to the last 20, 30 years, Rob, somewhere in there.
That ain't gonna help me.
We might help you a little bit. We might help you a little bit.
So,
well, I tell you what, Rob. I tell you what. You when it's an Oklahoma one, say cherry slushy.
Okay, it's not a slush. Okay, it's a smoothie.
Oh, it's smoothie. It's not a slushy. It's a smoothie. Oh, okay.
Right.
Say cherry smoothie. If I know it's Oklahoma.
Rob likes some cherry smoothies.
You got to tell me about what that is about.
I have no idea what he's talking about, Tony. I really do not.
Rob, if you go back if you go back and listen to the podcast, who asked who about smoothies?
I don't really remember.
But I'm gonna tell you something. I put on Twitter. I said if it's the last thing I do, even before I leave Oklahoma, I'm going to find out what that's about.
Well, if you do, please share it with me because I don't have any clue.
Right? Yeah. See, Rob always plays the innocent man.
Listen, I have no idea.
Okay, we're going to do a couple of Sooner Not a Sooners here. Keith Jackson, Sooner Not a Sooner.
Keith Jackson?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. All right. I need a cherry smoothie here. I don't know. Sooner. He's a Sooner.
He is a Sooner. He was, not the broadcasting Keith Jackson, but he was the 13th pick overall in the 1988 draft to who, Rob?
He went to the Seattle Seahawks.
Philadelphia Eagles. It was a bird, so you were close.
What year was that?
1988.
I'm not going to know that.
Okay. Charlie Tweeter. Sooner Not a Sooner.
Charlie Tweeter not.
Do you know who Charlie Tweeter was?
He created Twitter.
As good as answers any.
Have you seen the movie Varsity Blues?
Oh, okay, Varsity Blues. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, Charlie Tweeter was the guy who stole the police car and was driving around naked. Scott James Cahn's son.
I remember.
Gerald McCoy, Sooner Not a Sooner.
Sooner.
Very good.
Very good.
He was the third overall pick in the 2010 draft to who, Rob?
Still currently playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay, okay.
That may be the first one I ever got right. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, don't ask me where they play for. I wouldn't know.
Mark Clayton, Sooner Not a Sooner.
Sooner.
You are correct. The 22nd overall pick in the 2005 draft to who?
Miami Dolphins.
Nope.
Denver Broncos.
Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. Kevin O'Shea, Sooner Not a Sooner.
Kevin O'Shea?
Yeah.
Not a Sooner.
Good job. Do you know who Kevin O'Shea was?
No.
Have you seen the movie Little Giants?
I have.
Ed O'Neill, the Cowboys coach.
Oh.
Okay.
That
was Kevin O'Shea.
Okay.
I thought that was the guy in Dodgeball. Oh, wait, that's Patches O'Houlihan.
Patch.
You could dodge a wrench. You could dodge a ball.
May he rest in peace.
Right.
Yeah, Rip Torn passed away
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago. Patches O'Hallahan, not you said O'Houlihan, O'Hallahan.
Okay. All right.
Get it right, Rob. Let's see.
I'm about to Google that up. 'Cause I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
Dusty Dvorak, Sooner, not a Sooner.
Name again?
Dusty Dvorak.
The Vortex. Oh, Sooner.
That is right. He was picked in the 3rd round, 73rd overall pick in 2006. To who, Rob?
He went and played for Green Bay. No, wait.
No,
He went to
you were close. Green Bay's rival.
he played for hell, I don't know.
Duh.
Bears.
Duh, Bears. I expect Rob to know more than these, but
Yeah, I don't.
yeah. He doesn't even try anymore.
All right,
Don't
listen.
feel bad, Rob.
Patches O'Houlihan.
O'Houlihan.
O'Oulihan.
O'Houlihan. Okay,
That's
yeah.
one in the win column for Big Rob.
Yeah, Rob just Googled something and it took him less than 30 minutes. So
Yep.
he wanted to find out if it was Patches O'Houlihan. Which, by the way, Rip Torn is the best actor name ever.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
So, speaking of that, now Oklahoma, we have some what Rob and I consider legendary names. Okay,
Okay.
we had back in the 50s Wahoo McDaniel. Okay, we've had Elvis Peacock. We've had Buster Rhymes. In basketball, we had Mookie Blaylock. We've had some classic, cool names. Okay.
Yes, you have.
What are some classic, cool names that Alabama players, whether we've heard of them or not? What are some different names
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
What were some of your
Oh,
favorite
God.
players' names that was just different? You had to have.
Oh, my gosh.
I remember Nebraska used to have a guy. He was a linebacker, and his name was Dam Kroger, DamKroger, and it was Keith Jackson, the commentator. I remember it was an OU Nebraska game, and he said the guy's name was actually Kroger, but when he got to practice, he hit so hard the coaches kept calling him Dam Kroger. So that stuff. Yeah, so they just renamed him Dam Kroger because that's what they said before his name.
Whatever.
Quintarius Lopez.
What was the first name?
Quintarius.
Quintarius.
Lopez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quintarius Lopez. That is Julio Jones.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
But see why they call him Julio.
Yeah. I mean, okay, again, Cleo tried to help us out, that it's Tua Tagovailoa, or however we can figure out how to say his name because we cannot pronounce his name. How do you
want me to teach you?
You can try. It's not going to stick, but you can try. Ask any of my high school teachers. Do what?
It's Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa.
Okay, but it's not spelt that way.
TagoLaiv. Oh, wait. Tago.
Well, one thing's pretty clear is there's no boat in the middle. I'm just saying. Because we call him Tagovailoa.
Let me tell you what it's. All right, let's see something else. It's Tagovailoa. It's Let me think. Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa. I think it's 18 or 19 letters.
See, I feel sorry for him now.
That is
I do.
Well,
and his
how long is
and his little brother.
How long his first name is.
Yeah, I mean that's
Guess
what how in grade school, spell your last name. Me, I had 4 letters. Long. Boom, done, bang. If my name was Tagovailoa Halolua, I would still be in grade school.
Not if you lived in Hawaii.
You don't know that, Rob.
Okay. Well, he did go to kindergarten 3 times.
I did, yeah. But my kindergarten teacher was hot.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Were you
Mom.
going to marry your kindergarten teacher?
I don't even remember my kindergarten teacher. I
Well,
remember.
his first name, his full first name, too, is short. His full first name, I think, has got 28 letters in it.
Lord have mercy.
Listen, it's Tuin. Let me think. Tuin Gamanople Lopia.
See,
Manuple Opia. I'm serious. It is.
Rob's, name's longer than Rob too. It's Robert, but he goes by Rob for the same reason Tua, I guess, goes by Tua instead of
Nobody can pronounce Robert.
or you can't spell it.
Well, Tua didn't learn to spell his first name until he was in college.
I wouldn't think so. I still couldn't. They need to put his name in the national spelling bee is what they need to do.
Yeah,
there's no way. Well, the people, Hawaiian people and Samoan people could spell it, but I mean, geez, it's just huge.
Yeah, I don't.
But,
Two and what's
I think he was named after two grandfathers or something. It's reason they're all combined the names or something, I think. And so his first name is 28 letters long.
Yeah.
So it's Tua short. I'm like, we'll just take Tua.
You know what I bet he hates?
What?
Going to the doctor. I mean, how many times you got to write your name on that little form? I'm like, come on, seriously? What if you're...
named Tony, T-O-N-I, 4 letters.
I'm just saying, you got to write that 200 times on that one form, and you're like, you're done. You're like, I need surgery on my wrist now.
So,
oh my God!
One thing we got to ask, okay, about Jalen is dreads or no dreads for you?
I liked his dreads, but I like him now too. He's just he's a little older, but the dread thing too. He was this good-looking 17-year-old kid with blonde dreads. That he just and everybody was like, the girls were just melting everywhere.
Yeah.
Little girls were. And the funny thing is, with his dreads, it was so cute. During Halloween, Alabama would have these things for kids to come in and meet the players during Halloween. Well, the kids would come in and they would have pipe cleaners in their hair for dreads. It was the cutest. Yes, so they did. Another thing I liked about the dreads too is he pulled them back in a big ponytail, a big rubber band, and they'd stick out the back of his helmet. And, Jalen's a long strider. He's a real long strider, so he's fast. He's a 4.48 40 quarterback. He's fast, but you don't realize because he's a long strider. Well, you see his dreads bouncing on his back, on his pads in the back. Then you could see how fast he was running.
Yeah.
They would bounce, buddy.
Now, here's another question I have to. This is a fandom question that, I'm gonna. Now he cut his dreads, and then the next year he lost his position. Okay, correct?
You should have kept those dreads.
So, are you do you have certain rituals that you do every game, and you do them because you feel that it's helping the team, or that you're doing your part, or do you not believe in those rituals?
Well, yes and no. Yes, I do for Bama, and yes, I do. And I normally have on. I have to wear. A lot of times I watch. Now that I'm back here from Arizona, I watch a football game a lot of time with my parents. They'll come over to my house or I go over there. We have to have our Bama jerseys on, or in my case, I always had my Jalen jersey on. Mm-hmm. But yes, we always had to have our Bama gear on. We had to have that on, and we do. We have to have it on. That's just the way it is.
Now, if you're doing something like if you're standing up, it's a close game, and you're standing up, and the defense gets a turnover, then you stand up the next time the defense is out on the field?
I don't never sit down.
Oh, okay. Well,
see, what Terry's describing is a mental disorder.
That's what Ross said. See, me and Caleb and really kind of my whole family, except for my wife, she looks at me like she looks at me the way she always looks at me, like I'm an idiot. But, the year that Oklahoma played Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, okay, is a big example, because I didn't think Oklahoma had a snowball's chance in hell of winning that game. But I did my part because we were doing well when I stood up, okay, on offense. And I always stand up on offense, and I'd sit down on defense. Now, Teresa, my wife, who you'll meet here in a couple of weeks, she has a bad back, and she has to lay down quite a bit. And she at halftime went into the room, and I went in and informed her that if we start losing, you have to get up. Okay.
Never mind that you're in dire pain. Get up out of the bed.
It doesn't matter that she's in a brace and in a cast.
Yeah, it does not matter. Get up and get in here. And Caleb, we had people over, and some of Caleb's friends came over at halftime, right halftime, and I told them all, if we start losing, you will leave this house. Okay, we will go back to the way it was. Okay.
I'm not quite that bad.
Okay, well,
mental disorder, right, Tony? You can agree with me. It's okay. I promise. It's all right.
I'm not that bad.
Bob Stoops last year when we, I buy a new shirt. I have a new shirt every year for games. Okay, for home games or that I wear on game day. I had to go through 2 shirts and 2 hats because we lost 2 out of the first 3 games. Because when we lose, I don't re-wear it. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So, but this year I think I'm going to just stick with a 1 hat theory.
Oh boy.
I'm going to baseball jerseys this year for my gear. So I'll become kind of a baseball jersey guy. But. Now, do you have for your games this year? Are you going to be wearing a Jalen jersey for the Bama games, or are you going to get you a new jersey?
Oh no, Bama games will have a Jalen jersey.
Yeah.
I'll get egged, but that's okay. I had Bearport on me last year.
For wearing it?
Not on purpose.
Oh,
no,
okay.
but I did. And I was like, here it is. We're at the Missouri game. It's homecoming, and we're playing Mizzou, and it's at night. Of course, I love night games. And the guy behind me, I'm always dancing. I hardly ever sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this guy was standing behind me, so he's a real tall guy, and he's standing behind me and stuff, and he was just wasted. And he kept drinking and drinking and drinking, and he was slinging that because it's just a plastic cup with no lid on it.
Yeah.
So, I took a bath with beer. Twice he dumped it on me. And I looked at him. I said, I hate to tell you this, because I don't, I'm like, I'll never get this beer out of this jersey, and it's Jalen's jersey. And I said, the bad thing is, I am in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. If I get pulled over, those cops are never going to believe that I didn't drink.
For sure.
They're going to take me to jail because I smell like beer.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is I can't believe, a Bama fan would allow himself to waste that much beer, spilling that much beer on you. I mean, a good beer drinker would have been like, whoa, I got to sit down or something.
He was so wasted. My hair was dripping. I have long blonde hair. My hair was dripping. My shirt. I said, "I'll never get this stuff out of me." And I'm not kidding. He was wasted, and he was just, he's jumping up and down and slinging. Beer everywhere. That's why I don't like beer at games, because these people get crazy.
So now, you're coming to the Oklahoma-Houston game, right?
I am.
And
I'm off on Tuesday, so it gives me the time to drive back.
Yeah.
It's hard when it's on a Saturday game and I can't, and I'm not off on Monday, so it's hard for me to do that. So this will probably be the only game I get to, which breaks my heart.
So have you already got your tickets to the game?
Of course. Not in January.
Well, dang.
Absolutely.
So where are your seats at? Do you know? Or do
God, you would ask me that.
Not the section. Or do you know if it's upper deck, east, north, south end zone, north end zone?
It's behind the players on the field. It's behind them.
Okay.
I forget row 22. I think.
Dang.
I forget what section. And it's not. It's in the bleachers. It doesn't have a back, so I've got to rent a seat back.
Mm-hmm.
And so that doesn't make me happy. I've got to rent, because in the section at Alabama that's right behind the players where they are, you actually have individual chairs. You have your individual seats with arms, and so that's what I thought it would be like. But it's not. It's on bleachers.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you.
And it's in the sun, which it's at night anyway, so it shouldn't matter too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it'll be, if you're behind the team, the sun sets in the west, so you'll be in the shade. So.
Well, I'm behind the team is where I'm on the Oklahoma side.
Yeah, so that's the
Cleo
west.
keeps trying to talk me in wearing my Bama. I said, Cleo, it's easy for you to say. I'll be sitting in the middle of all those people, and they'll be beating on me because.
No, they won't. If you were wearing, a Tua jersey, Probably, but I like we told her last night. You wouldn't be any worse than all the knotheads walking into OU games wearing a frickin' Cleveland Brown jersey. Baker
On
Mayfield.
the west side, you wouldn't. The west side is the older section, so you wouldn't have any problems over there.
No, if you want to wear it, but the only thing is that the first game is a whiteout for the first time ever.
Well, I think it's cool too, and that's what I did. My Jalen jersey, the only one I have is white.
Yeah.
And
so wear it.
So I went.
Yeah.
Well, I went ahead and ordered because I couldn't find the white OU jersey for Jalen, so I did get the red one. And then when I found it was a whiteout, I'm like, oh shoot, I got to go order it. so I'm like, please help me find that white one.
You'll be with us at the toe, and nobody will. You might even get a high five or two or something like that. I don't know, but I mean.
So you want me to wear the Jalen jersey for the game?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
You'll be fine. Nobody will.
Well, one thing else I want to do too is I plan to take a sign. I'm going to write a sign for him. I don't know what's going on because I don't want to embarrass him or OU or Bama or nothing. I'm like, okay, what am I going to put on there? I thought of there. We here, Sam. We here.
Yeah.
Drove 600. Bama Nation loves you. Drove 670 miles.
Yeah. But no, it's the first time we've ever had a whiteout, and like I've told everybody, I'm wearing lime green to the game.
You wear what?
He's an Oregon fan.
I'm wearing lime green because I want to be on TV. So.
Well, then I'll wear my crimson one so I can be on television.
No, there will be some people that won't wear white. I mean,
but the Houston fans won't wear white. They'll wear their color, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, they'll definitely wear red.
Yeah, they're wanting to have a whiteout. Oklahoma has, in the last several years, has had a game. They stripe the field. Each section is red and white, which I hate. Okay. The primary reason I hate it is because we have a losing record when we stripe the stadium. Okay. Therefore, don't stripe the stadium. But this year, they left it up to the fans, and the fans voted, and it was a whiteout. Well, a lot of fans are ticked off about it. They don't want a whiteout. We don't need... and I get it. I kind of agree with it. We don't need any flashy stuff. Oklahoma, they show up in their game day gear. Let us, we just want to wear our game day gear. But, things like that, whiteouts, trying to make a game more of a happening than it is all for recruiting. They want to make the atmosphere above and beyond anything that a kid.
Well, I have an idea that they can do that. If you want to do this, you can borrow a Dixieland Delight when you play Texas.
What is Dixieland Delight? I don't know what that is.
It's a song. It's a Dixieland Delight. It's a song. It's that country song. Okay.
Are you going to sing it? Delight.
Heck no, I can't sing.
Yeah,
but beat Texas and LSU and Tennessee too. That's what's in there. So that's part of it.
Oh, okay. So I did not know that.
You can borrow it to play Texas if you want.
No.
Another thing that Bama's done that I haven't been there, they just put it in just now, like a few days ago. They now have colored lights. They have crimson colored lights. They can turn on in the stadium the crimson colored lights. I don't know what that's going to do, but that's kind of cool.
It's like night vision stuff.
Our tunnel where the players come out, it's like that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and what the thing about Norman right now that I love is basically the stadium lights are on 24 hours a day right now, aren't they, Rob?
Yeah, pretty much.
It is.
Are they really?
Yeah, I mean, and the score. Cool. Yeah, the scoreboard is lit up. I mean, if you drive past the stadium, there'll be something on the scoreboard.
Second biggest board in the nation.
Yeah, but they have the stadium lit. So when you're driving around Norman, especially you get down by campus, the lights just light up. And if you're down on Campus Corner, you can see the stadium from there. It's like, oh man, it's almost football season.
Wow, I know. I'm just like, wow, I cannot wait. I cannot believe. Well, was it Saturday? This Saturday? Who plays Saturday? We got some games on Saturday.
Yeah, I think Okie Stank plays. Who else plays?
Poor Okie Stank. That poor team.
Oh, poor team.
Yeah, we say it all the time.
Yeah, you say it all the time.
So, Tony, we got to get you back on after you exit Norman and just tell us about your experience in Norman. Hopefully it's a good one. But
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be fun, though.
Yeah, but, if, again, like we were talking about earlier, is that Teresa and I, we're going to pick her up at her hotel, take her around a tour of the campus and the stadium, show her around Norman, the kickoff, the first annual kickoff block party, I guess is what they're calling it, down on Campus Corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to go down to that. Won't stay too late because I'm too old to be drinking two days in a row. So, oof. So, but and we'll definitely take you around, show you all the sights and sounds of the university. And like you said, you already know you've seen pictures of it. It's a gorgeous campus.
Yeah, I want to see that campus. That school is just beautiful. It's like, wow. That is one of the prettiest schools I've ever seen. It's just really pretty, and yeah, I want to see it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then of course you'll get to experience the tailgate, and there's I know they got the Roll Tide, but there's nothing quite like at the beginning of the game when they get the chant going, the Boomer Sooner chant. People who are Sooner.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, people that are. South Jersey Bill came to his first OU game last year, and we had him over to the house here at the Podcast Palace after the Sunday after the game, because he was going to be here an extra day. And said, just tell your story. It's your first game. He's been a Sooner fan his whole life, and it said, when they started the Boomer Sooner, he goes, man, and you could look. He was like, he showed it. The hair stood up on his arms again. He goes, it was just the most amazing thing. When you get, half of a crowd chant, screaming Boomer, 45,000 people screaming Boomer, and then the other 40 across the way screaming Sooner. It's pretty cool. We
do that too, Bama. It's Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama. We do it too. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun too. The games are just absolute blast.
Yeah.
And they really are. It's just a blast. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun too to see that too. And I hope people around me don't think I'm absolutely crazy, but I am. I'm a crazy football fan.
Nothing wrong with
that. But Rob, do you got anything else you want to?
Man, that's it.
Tony, we
got to have her back on though, because I definitely want to talk to her some more.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
No, it's just been wonderful. This is so much fun. I want to thank all of the OU fans that I have met on Twitter. They're just wonderful. They're sweet people, and mostly Bama fans are too. We're just nice people, and it's just fun. This is all fun, even though our boys are, no matter who they play for, are out there. This is work for them. People need to think about it's work. They're just because they're entertainment for us, it's not for them. They are trying to develop to get a job is what they're doing to get in the NFL. And people need to appreciate what these kids do and stop criticizing them so much, because they don't want to do bad things. They want to be perfect.
Right.
And I just wish people would, be not quite so hard on them.
Except for the kids that go to Texas and Auburn, they're trying to keep their jobs at McDonald's, right? they just.
Well, they're not poisoning trees anymore.
The Texas and Auburn kids, they're just trying to keep their job at Walmart and McDonald's and after they graduate, that's their goal. Sorry, I had to say that, but. I think that's it, everybody, for the podcast. Thanks once again for tuning in. We'll see you next week. We got some big shows coming up next week, but that's it for now. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Jerry.
Boomer Tony.
Boomer guys.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. Sooner Football Fans Podcast is hosted by Rob Nixon, Terry Long, and occasionally Caleb Long. It is produced at the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma. Follow us on Twitter at SoonerFBFans, and like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Sooner Football Fans, and visit our website at www.SoonerFootballFans.com to read our blogs and keep up with our tailgating activities. Boomer Sooner, everyone.